Australian Government Summer School for Teachers of Mathematics was conducted at the University of New England in January 2008. 200 teachers of mathematics from right across Australia came to UNE and heard high-profile presenters over a range of subjects related to mathematics. Dr. Valentina Dragan, who is Senior Manager Risk Strategy at the ANZ Bank, provided a presentation on the introduction to credit scoring. Valentina, I was wondering if you could tell us what was the main focus of your presentation.
The main focus of the presentation was to introduce the concepts of credit scoring and how, in the context in which these are used within risk management and measurement at the banks worldwide, not necessarily just at ANZ, and also to introduce the teachers with a life experience of how, when you apply for credit, what kind of characteristics bank assessors are looking at. So the workshop part of it was the main focus of the presentation.
Right. So in terms of its relevance to mathematics teachers at the moment, the focus then was really to provide some practical examples of how maths might be implemented in an industry setting.
Yes.
And therefore hopefully to help them motivate students as they undertook the maths, rather than being sort of seen as a bit sterile and insular from the real world.
Yes, definitely, because what we did was we played different banks and assessors, so we took the real life application scorecards from all these banks, and we split the teachers into various groups so they can simulate the workshop concept into the classroom and have. So we also had customers that applied for credit, and what it is that were the things that made them determine the decision in giving them the loan, and how much were they going to give a loan, what kind of score they were going to get. So that same concept can be simulated in a classroom environment.
Right. So were there any key ideas or messages in terms of the maths that you might have been able to, that teachers might have been able to take back into their classroom at all?
Yes, we touched on the techniques and the analytical methods that were used behind that to try and identify different kind of risk of customers, so discrimination analysis and the logistic regression techniques, for example, one of the techniques that is used in this area in credit risk analysis. And also I've touched on other uses of those techniques in other areas, not necessarily in credit risk, but they can use to discriminate other factors.
So you said the teachers went through a workshop situation, a role play.
Yes.
Are they able to take that back and use that in their classroom?
Exactly, that's exactly right. Like we had some conversations afterwards that the same thing could be simulated. Kids could play the roles of banks, and they could be customers applying for loans, and they can try and simulate that. Yeah.
Right. So that type of material we'll probably put on the summer school website, which teachers will be able to access later. Are there any other resources that you would like to point the teachers to that might actually help them in terms of looking at the maths behind the credit analysis?
Yes, my presentation had details about the conferences that they are worldwide that discusses these topics, like the Fair Riser Conference and the University of Edinburgh, which they've got every 2 years a conference too. So I gave the details of all that in the presentation, which will be on the web, so they can see the details of that. I gave them my card if they want to contact me directly, and the email address if they've got any more questions.
All right, well, thank you very much for that information.
No worries, thank you.